I allow myself to be my best self, to be creative, and to let go. I allow myself to live an elevated life, to stay focused and clear, always moving towards a goal. I allow myself to let go and to learn, to live, and to grow. I allow myself time and space. I allow. Good day, everyone. It's elevation time. Say it loud. It's elevation time. I allow myself to feel, to express myself, and to use the talents that I possess. You're listening to the music of Doctah B Sirius's new project called Project Allow, or I Allow. This is the title track featuring the vocals of Azare, That Are Not Love. This, along with some other uplifting tracks, will be out soon. We're working on the final touches. I am in the studio mixing. Folks want to know, well, where have you been, Doctah B? I've been in the studio, staying focused, mixing, creating medicine music that goes in and has a prescription to help take out whatever is no longer needed. Let go, release, and allow the energy of love, peace, and harmony, or whatever you would like to allow to come in. So this will be out soon. So be listening for the release of this project, which has been coming for some time. It's been amazing. It's an amazing journey when you stay focused on what you came to do. So give us just a few more minutes and we'll get started on today's talk. I allow. I allow. I allow. I allow myself to be authentic, transparent, open, caring, and loving. I allow myself to let go, to be free, and to plant new seeds and live the best life right now. Right now. I allow the God power within me to express itself right now through creativity. I allow myself to plant new seeds in the garden of life. I let go. Right now. I allow. Right now. I am grateful. I am honored to allow to be here now. Yes, 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 yes. I am honored to be here now. Yes. At this now moment, which is the only thing that actually exists. Yesterday, yesteryear, they're a part of our imagination and our memory of what was. But they're not here now. They're not present, which means they're not gifts unless those memories are good memories, great memories, inspiring memories. Then we might be able to use some of those ideas and feelings and experiences in the moment to move us forward deeper into the nowness. A lot of our lives And our mindsets have been consumed with the past and what was. And I remember in school, they told us that we needed to learn history so that history doesn't repeat itself. Does history ever actually repeat itself? Ponder that for a second. What in the past has repeated itself exactly the same? Things similar may show up, but they're never exactly the same. And even when they show up now, we have the power to experience it differently, to have a different angle on it. Even if it's similar, we can change that. It's based on our point of view and our perception and our programming. That's how we choose and how we live. But those things can be changed. Our mindset can be changed. There's something called neuroplasticity, where you can change your mindset. You can change your reality. You can change your point of view. You can change your perception by choosing a new thought, by choosing a new direction, and allowing your new perception, your new mindset to be your principal chief goal or aim. I'd like to welcome you all here. It's been a while, folks. I've been saying, Dr. B, where are you? Where have you been? I've been allowing the one they call Dr. B to take a break. It's a big responsibility being out here and being what they call, and this word is interesting, an influencer. I was told that. They said, but Dr. B, you're an influencer. You're the spiritual leader of, blah, 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 blah. We have to be careful of the titles, because those are labels that are given to us. But you must understand, a label is not the thing. So take a chair, for instance. We look at a chair, we say that's a chair. But there's many other languages where they don't call it a chair. And you could say, sit in that chair to people all over the world, and they will look at you. They don't know what you mean. What do you mean? Because they don't have the same mindset. They haven't made the same agreement that word chair defines that thing. The chair or the thing is a bundle of energy, mostly light and vibration, that comes together that looks like a chair to us. That's our agreement, and we call it chair. But that's not really what it is. Because in quantum physics, it has shown that when you're not looking at something, it's basically waves of potential, energy, waves. It's not solid particles yet. And when you look at the thing, it instantly becomes particles. This is particle wave theory. Look it up. Based on your mindset and how you see things, it arranges itself based on what you'd like or what you've agreed to. And then we have this, this universal agreement of what things are, that, that's a tree and all these things. We that's a man, that's a woman, this is a dog, this is the earth. Now we get the earth is round, the earth is flat. Somebody the other day said the earth is a pyramid. Their mindsets. And in quantum physics, everything is being created based on your point of view. So a chair is not a chair if no one's sitting there. Then we have these agreements that we make, that we all say, and this is really, 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 really deep. And I'm taking it slow so that I can break this down, because some of these things are challenging to break down in English. English is an interesting language, and music is my first language, and English becomes a challenge. So, bear with me. A lot of things that we have learned were told to us by people, taught to us by people who had a certain point of view. And many of our agreements about what things are is based on those people, that social group, that family, that political group, that club, that organization, that religion, who defined for us what things are. And it's up to us to agree or to allow that idea to stay with us. Those things are references. They're references. A reference is something that was told to you or shown to you, or an idea that you may not have an actual experience with that thing. References. Somebody made reference to the earth being, 4 billion years old. How do they know the earth is 4 billion years old? Or 5 or 6? Who was there in the beginning to write that down? And who had calendars? Were there years in the beginning? What is a year? 365 days. Well, it's actually 365 days, and it's some 0.000 something. That's an agreement. That's a reference point. We a lot of times look at things and judge things based on references. And it's okay, because references are good. Be careful, because there's a river over there and it's hot and the lions are eating and drinking down by the river. So be careful in the hot time of, this is during the time of Leo. This is where the concept of Leo comes from what I hear, from the references I've been given, that Leo had to do with the time of the summer when it's hot, and you had to be careful because of the lions. But there's a big difference between a reference, an idea that's been given to you, a lot of times for free. You don't have to pay for it. But sometimes you went to college and got a whole lot of references and memorized the references. They may not be actual facts for you. But there's a huge difference between a reference and a referent. Does anyone in the chat know what a referent is? What is a referent? It's a word that, even if you look it up, it becomes real kind of, because it's a word that's not used in our pantheon of words that we've been given to describe things. Like I say, English is a tricky language because it's an angle. Yes. Flower. I like that. Flower. Flower says it's a witness. A reference is a referent is when you are an actual witness to something. You were there. You know for sure. See, because with smoke and mirrors and Photoshop and sleight of the hand, and you may not have any actual facts or any true experience with a lot of things that you may have agreed to that is true. It's true. Why is it true? My parents, they wouldn't have lied to me. Well, they may have told you some stories that were kind of questionable, especially if it was Christmas time. You were young. You didn't know because they're basically your gods. Just Incredible says, is there a point to this? I'm making a point. Yes, there's a huge point. So take your time and listen, because there's more to what I'm saying than what you're hearing. Justin says, well, you're only speaking common sense right now. I want to ask a question, since Just Incredible is saying some things here. How many people here today know that there's a difference between a label, a reference, and a referent, and how that affects every moment of your life? Every word that you speak, everything you eat, every idea you have. How many people know about this? And if you do, great. And if it's something that's, you're not interested in, then this may not be the place for you today, because I may talk about a lot of things that could be considered common sense. What is common sense? What is that? What is common sense? Who makes it common? Where are you getting that reference from? Where are you getting that label from? Common sense. It's only common sense. What is common sense? Things are only common to a group of people who have made that agreement that this thing is common in that group. You step outside of the group, it's not common anymore. I'm attempting to take time right now, because there's times I get fiery and I get pumped up. Let's ask a question. Let's give ourselves permission. Would you give yourself permission to hear something new today? Give yourself permission to be open. And if you don't, then, maybe this is not for you, but Is it okay that I share some information with you today? Or possibly some inspiration? Is that okay if I share? Is it okay that I maybe make it a little fun today and a little inspiring and not so fun? I mean, not so serious all the time. Because a lot of times we want to be serious. This is a serious time. They're coming. The enemy is coming. What is the enemy? And where do they live? Sometimes they're in you. Sometimes the enemy is on the line. And you think they're your friend because it's common sense that that person is good because look how they dress. Look what they do. Look what they drive. Look how intelligently they talk. No, nothing is common. Is it okay that we talk about some things today that could agitate you a bit, but get you to move possibly into another place? Would that be okay? Because today, this is Doctah B Sirius's natural solutions, natural insights, things that I see a certain way that everyone may not agree with. I'm not attempting to be agreeable. And I never have. They say it's common sense that, 1 times 1, 1 times 0 equals 0. Yeah, it is common sense. But how can you take 1 times 0 and end up with nothing? What happened to the 1? Our whole system is off. Everything we have learned has been given to us by other people with a point of view, with a goal, political, religious. Everything that we have learned is different from what I have found. Listen, what words mean and how you use them. Have you looked up the etymology of words? Where they come from? The root of words? And how you describe yourself? Even how you dress and what you've got to look like to be a business person. You've got to put on a suit. And I'm trying to figure out, if you're in church, for a man, why does he need to wear a business suit? Just a question. And why does a woman who works in an office have to dress the same way the folks might dress at a club? Why does she have to wear high heel shoes to be a businesswoman? I'm not saying she does. I'm just saying, who decides these common norms? Who is choosing for you what is beautiful? What is ugly? What's fine? I guess if I drive a very, very expensive car, you figure I'm successful. They told me, Dr. B, you should be driving at least a $200,000 car. I got folks who suggest all kinds of things. Why do I need to drive a $200,000 car? Because I drive up to, an event in what's called an average car. Well, Dr. B, we thought you'd be, chauffeured by blah, 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 in a such and such. Why? I mean, come on. One of the most prestigious cars is called a Ghost. An Illusion. My point here today is that once we change our mindset, everything changes. Once we change who we think we are and we break free from the matrix, break free from the system that has been programmed in you, usually not by you. Now, some of us have created our own programs, and this is good. They told me in school I was a failure and I'd never be anything. I remember a teacher told me I was unteachable. Maybe that's because I'm a teacher. And I know what I know, and I can disseminate what I know, and I don't need to get an A plus in your class, in your classification, in your caste system, which keeps you stuck. Like when you get a broken leg, they put it in a cast, and they have these caste systems and these class systems. That's all about, it's all about looking at you and valuing you based on everybody else. And when the teacher told me that they were going to grade on a curve, if the number one student got a C, this is what they told me now. This is maybe, some of your teachers here, help me out. The teacher says that if the best student in the class gets a C, then the C will be considered an A. What? It's called grading on a curve. If the most successful person in a community, or perceived successful person in a community, and they perceive that on what they're wearing and what their title is, and he's the chief inspector, he's the he's the owner, I'm the owner of, I own my LLC. You can't own an LLC. It's owned by the state. You are just basically the steward of it. You're creating an entity for the state. I don't want to own my own company. And a lot of wealthy people don't own anything. They're smart. Own nothing. So then when there's a problem, they can't come to me because I don't own it. I don't know what happened here. It's an LLC. Call the state. It's about allowing yourself to look at things differently. If you're living in the moment, then you, in this particular moment, could change your point of view if you allow. And I'll tell you, in the beginning, I played the song Allow. It's become a big statement. I allow. And I was doing a subconscious alignment many years ago with a client in Los Angeles. And in the subconscious alignment, facilitation technique, we must find a statement. It was called a language syntax, which is a one sentence group of words that explains exactly what you desire. Exactly what you desire, but very basic, that a 5-year-old can understand it or can perceive it easily. So in this, it has to be a first person positive present tense statement. First person positive present tense. So first person a lot of times is I am. And it has to be present. So it's got to be I am right now. So if it's money, I am rich and wealthy. But you're not. But you could be based on your mindset, but you don't feel like you are because you don't see the evidence around you. So your reticular activating system, right, is feeling that we're not wealthy. So it looks for more not wealthy ideas and notions. That's the law of attraction. Everybody is existing in the law of attraction. You are attracting what you're focusing on the most, what your telos is, what your ideas and your words are that you're using the most is what you're attracting. You don't have to get deep and go to the law of attraction college. You're already doing it. What you've got to do is change your focus. So in the subconscious alignment, some of you have had subconscious alignment sessions with Doctah B. It's about getting your conscious mind and your subconscious mind to be on the same accord. Your conscious mind is your will. That's what I want. That's me. That's your ego. The subconscious is a group of programs that have been getting programmed not only from you, but from your ancestors, your mother, especially, and her mother. The subconscious is recording every experience. It is not in your head. Your subconscious is not in your head. It's too big. It's too big. It's too many. That storage unit is just got to be gigantic. We now know that the subconscious is in the body and also in part of the auric field around the body, the magnetosphere, I call it. So while I was working with this client, she had been through some traumatic situations. And whenever she said, I am something, it didn't register. And the reason why we know it doesn't register is because we're doing muscle testing. This is a part of psychological kinesiology. Psychological kinesiology is when you can take a person's mindset or ask a question and then test their muscle to see if it's strong or weak. And there's a calibration process to get there. So we just can't some folks I can do that myself. Well, maybe you can, but to do it where it is more, calibrated and exact, you have to get to a calibration point, find out what is a yes or a no to your subconscious. Because in that subconscious world, yeses are not nos and nos are not yeses. And there's a whole lot of programming in there that's so dense and so deep that we've got to be able to get in the back door of that program. And the way we get in that back door is using this kinesiology calibration technique rather. So when it's a yes, that is a fact, that is a chair, or that your reference is an actual thing that can be proved, your muscle will be strong. When something is a no, then your muscle is a little weak. This is how the lie detector test works. This is also how you can use a pendulum. There's many things you can use. There's many ways to do this, kinesiology. We've got, a class on it and different things on the website at elevationtime.com, elevationtime.com. I do teach, and I'm willing to, actually share that with folks in groups. If you'd like to, get on our calendar and have us come and teach these techniques. I'd rather teach groups than individuals. So if you'd like to put something like that together, then let us know. So in this session, whenever we said, I am, the muscle was weak, which means the subconscious says we're not. We even did I will. We did we are. That's another one. We are, because you're actually a combination. You're not I, you're actually we, because there's billions and billions of creatures inside you that make you up. That's a whole nother conversation. So in this session, it became frustrating, and I figured it's not going to work. Just cancel it out, give the lady her money back. And she kind of fell asleep. We were outside and, in the park. She kind of fell asleep. And I suddenly fell asleep a little bit. And I went into this dreamy place in between sleeping and awake, which is called what? The theta state. In between worlds, in between sleeping and awake. The theta state. It's a mindset where you're on a bridge in between worlds, which is where meditation happens. A lot of things happen in the theta state. And it came to me. Instead of I am, try I allow. I was like, wait a minute. When I was in school getting my certificate, nobody mentioned that. I allow. So first I muscle tested it on myself, because you can do this muscle testing on yourself to see if something is solid for you. And it was strong. So she wakes up and I said, I'd like to try something. I said, let's change your goal statement, your language syntax to I allow. And when she said, I allow myself to blah, 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 boom, the muscle was strong. I allow. Wait a minute. See, a lot of words have weight. They have a whole library of feelings behind them or agreements. So when we talk about I am, a lot of people's subconscious says, no, I'm not. Because my mother said I'm blah, blah, blah. And Uncle Harry said I was dumb and I was a nitwit. What is a nitwit anyway? But it must have hurt because the authority figure, Uncle such and such, said it. You don't even know what a nitwit is. But just because the authority said it, you know, and they said it in a mean way or a condescending way, you have agreements. And you could do all the meditation and burn all the sage and ring all the bowls and bells and go to all the, you know, the consciousness classes. A lot of folks want to get conscious, but the subconscious still got them. Because it's a hidden thing. It's like the subconscious and the conscious mind don't speak. But certain words have weight. So when you might be saying, I am, your subconscious is saying, no, the hell we're not. Because being sometimes I am it's work involved. They always tell you, well, you got to do the work. You got to do the work. You got to go into the dark self. You got to go into the dark night of the soul. It's going to be work to get yourself together. Work, work, work. You got to work at being conscious and being aware. You got to work at it. Did you know that the word work has roots in war? Work. Did you? Are you aware of that? Like worship. Did you know worship in the just using the sound vibration? Just in the vibration, the way it vibrates through your body. Say it. Worship. It basically is fighting a war ship. You're on a war ship. Are you aware of this? How powerful words are? And how English is in English? Work. It's fight. You got to fight for your position, fight for your job, fight to get there on time, fight to do good, fight to make them believe you that you're great. It's competition because other people may be trying to get your job and you think they're friends at work, but basically they're not friends. They really are maybe, you know, they got issues with you because your hair is one color and theirs is not. And your skin is one color and theirs. There's a lot of issues that come up. Work. I got to work at it. Now, I'm a musician. I don't work at music. I play. And when you say play, your mindset, your subconscious automatic programming goes back to the time when you were having fun. Even if you say, this situation is a challenge. It's going to be a challenge. When you say challenge, sometimes the mindset of the child comes online and says, we like challenges. I was good at the 100-yard dash. I was good at chess or playing cards, or, you know, a challenge may not be have so much agitation to it, so much heavy weight. I am challenged. And instead of work, we might say play. But in this case, I allow has very little work involved. It just is about opening up and letting energy come through because it's already there. This is where we're getting to, y'all. Everything is already there. It's all here. Everything is happening at the same time. It's just on different degrees. It's on different, platforms or different dimensions. Everything that ever happened or ever will happen is happening right now. This is Dr. B's research. You may not agree. It's okay. It's all available to us right now based on our mindset. Somebody said, well, Dr. B, those herbs, your herbs, it's just, I don't believe they actually work. It's all in your head. Everything is in our heads. Everything. It's just in your mind. It's all in my mind. But keep in mind that there were people who had cancer, heart disease, diabetes. They were part of a program. And when some of these people ended up they went into dementia, or they may have hit their head and had amnesia. And if they had amnesia for more than 6 months, they couldn't remember the heart disease, so the heart repaired itself. They couldn't remember the cancer or this issue or the disease or the high blood pressure or whatever. So guess what? What was holding it and magnetizing it, the thing to us, is our minds, because all these things start in our mind or start in what they call the spirit world, which we're going to touch on in just a second. It's all in the mind, in the menta. But if it works, if you get conjured up and your belief or your knowing or your allowing is so strong, it changes the matter, because guess what? What changes the matter is the wave or the idea about what it is you're talking about or what you're believing or what you're focusing on. It is the wave of energy that comes from your head into the quantum field. It is that energy that becomes the quantum force, because when you're wave casting, we're casting the waves from your mind and your ideas into the quantum field. If you stay there, and repetition is key. If you keep repeating that idea and stay focused on that idea, it manifests destiny. So this means that it's important that we mind our business. And not just mind your business, but business your mind. And allow yourself to stay focused on your part of this world. Otherwise, you get caught up in mass distraction, which is a virus. On what they said and what they keep showing you, images and pictures, and they put words with images, and you believe it. And a lot of times there's cognitive dissonance happening in your head that says, look, wait a minute, these two things don't even go together. But you put it together because what? This person is a person of stature. They're important. They're on television. They're famous. Some people won't even watch a movie unless they're famous actor or actresses in it, because that's who they like. I like them. I like the way they act. Some of your friends, I like the way they act. You that might not be how they are, but you like the way they act when they're around you. And a lot of people got to act just for you. As soon as they see the phone ring, oh, that's Jimmy. You jump right into, hey, Jimmy, how you doing? Because that's how you guys talk at the job. you got this code thing. At the job, we all talk like this because you want to seem important. You want to be intelligent. And to be intelligent, you got to act like you don't have any lips. Hi, John. Big open smile, showing all your teeth. Good day. How you doing, John? Oh, happy holidays. How you doing? And in America, a lot of times people don't really want to know how you doing. You ever tell somebody how you doing? They say, how you doing? Well, one guy told me that. I said, how you doing? He says, well, if I didn't have bad luck, I wouldn't have any at all, Dr. B. I stopped. His mindset is that if he didn't have bad luck, he wouldn't have any. He's basically saying, I'm a loser. And if I wasn't losing, I wouldn't have anything. And loss is a part of what I'm into. Listen to the sayings people say. We've got to be careful. Because right now, the mass distraction, the information that you get when you open up your phone and go to one app or go on your computer and go to one website. Did you know there's more information entering your brain and your consciousness than all of your ancestors put together before we had computers? Do you know how many, just the amount of colors and how these colors that are coming from your phone are affecting your mind? Coming through a liquid crystal display. And you're holding it in your hand. A lot of times people hold it in their right hand. The energy that's coming from that device grabs your attention. And when you go to Google or whoever you go to do your searches, you feel that is the actual facts. They're references, but you feel they're true, which codes you, right? And begins to vibrate in you. And then these chemicals in your head, because the brain is a chemistry, it's a chemistry device. It creates chemistry and fires information to your glandular system. Your glandular system it makes hormones. Hormones are chemical messengers. They found that, I guess this was in the 40s or 50s, maybe the 30s. They talked about how, there were doctors and people who dealt with, they were doctors during times of plague. And they were in the hospital or around sick people, but they didn't get sick. They didn't catch it, even though it may have been airborne or, you know what I'm saying? A lot of things are airborne. You figure it's just floating through the air. It's just in the mind. That's air too. You got to understand air philosophy. Shout out to Kawhi out there, Kawhi of Air Philosophy. Go check out Air Philosophy. That's Kawhi Matthews. She's our resident photographer. She does most of our technical things when it comes to visuals, and she's been the only person that I really allow to capture me when it comes to, that kind of stuff. Kawhi Matthews. She's an amazing videographer and photographer. But there is a philosophy of air. What is air? So to really be successful, when you go on the internet, when you grab your phone, when you leave your home, when you go outside, when you pick up the phone to talk to a person, whatever you do, you must have a certain mindset and a focus on who you are and what you will do, what you will not do, and what you will put up with, and all of that. You've got to seal up. There's a way to zip yourself up. Because otherwise the virus of mass distraction is going to affect you, and it's causing people to have all kinds of maladies that we didn't even have before 15, 20 years ago. People didn't live based on apps. We've become appaholics. I got apps in my phone. I don't even know why I got them. The other day I was looking at, what are all these apps? I had to have them at the time. Friends told me, you got to get this app. I don't even know what half these apps are. My phone is full of apps. I'm not talking about just you. I'm talking about me too. We're appaholics. I've never even opened some of these apps. I'm perplexed. At the time it would take for me to go through them, and sometimes when you're cleaning up, you ever go into some, boxes and some old stuff you've got stored up, and you start looking in there at all this stuff, and you say, oh, wow, man, I haven't seen this in 20 years. You haven't seen it, so you didn't even realize you had it, but you need it. So we hoard. We got to keep this. This is going to be important one day. But all that stuff that we're keeping in our mindset, in our bodies, we hold on to stuff. We don't want to let go. Do yourself a favor. Go through your apps. I'm doing this. Maybe open them up and see what they do. And if not, get rid of them. Because those apps, and this is what my technician told me, did you know that those apps are never closed? Did you know the phone is never off? No, it's off. My battery. I don't even have any juice. There's a secondary battery that you don't even know about. That even though the phone looks off and you can't make a call, it's on. Did you know that even when they disconnect your service, if you still have the device, it's on? That's okay. I'm not telling you it's bad. I'm not saying this is evil or anything. I'm saying that you should be aware of this. And there's times you need to have conversations and leave everything electronic far away and go have a walk out in nature and have that conversation. Go somewhere where there's no phone, no Wi-Fi to have a conversation, because everything becomes public. And there's these things called scrapers now. The scrapers are little devices that are going through the internet, scraping all knowledge, and it's part of AI. My our guy who does our website, he called me one day. He says, Dr. B, the scrapers are on the site. I said, what the heck are the scrapers? The scrapers. He says, the scrapers are, just tell me, please. I said, well, what is it? He says, I can't talk. Let me fix it. Should I block the scrapers? I said, well, are they good? He says, no. And I said, well, block them. And he does this thing, and he calls me back about half hour later. He says, whew, that was close. I says, what are scrapers? He says, these things were on your site, garnishing all the knowledge on your website, Dr. B. Everything. Every product, every idea, every word, every video, everything you'd say, how you'd say it, they were garnishing you. You get a garnish, like you grind something up and put it over some food. It's a garnish. It gives it a flavor. I don't want to be a garnish. Are you aware of this? These are just little things. Today, I'm, just kind of, people say, well, you ranting? Yes, I do that a lot. Haven't said anything for a while publicly and giving you some things that you may choose to look at. And somebody invited me to a private, special, secret meeting on Facebook. We're having a private, special, secret think tank meeting. Address and everything was there. How's that private, sacred? Even a lot of you will message me on IG. And I go look and I see all these messages and folks are upset. Dr. B, why won't you answer me? I didn't even know they have IG phones that you can call people. What? You think that's private? Have you snapped? You're allowing, right, artificial intelligence to take over you. We're not going to need people in a minute if this keeps up. My homeboy told me he wrote a book in 15 minutes. So how'd you do it? Artificial intelligence. Well, how'd you write the book? Who wrote the book? Well, I got artificial intelligence to write the book. You just put in there what you want the book to be about. How dogs were created. Just your prompt. And it goes in. I keep saying IG, it's AI. It goes in. And finds all the information about how dogs were created. You do know that domesticated dogs were created. They're not natural. You do know that domesticated chickens were created. You do know that domesticated cows and pigs are all created. You do know that, right? There's a wild chicken bird, a fowl that lives out, near our office. And it's wild. It's natural. It's not white. It eats on its own. It lives on its own. It can do its own thing. Domesticated things can't. Be careful because people today are allowing themselves to be domesticated and live under a domicile. It's a program. And that's okay. You just need to be aware of it because you can live in the system and out of the system. You can keep some things public and some things private, but be careful because if you're out there listening to what is normal and common sense, you're going to get caught up in this common sense thing. I can already tell where you're coming from when you start talking about common sense because sense is not common. In fact, most of us are not even users of our senses because the average person is only using 5% of their actual ability. But when you begin to mind your business and business your mind, take your mind and mind only what difference does it make when unless that's your business and that's what you love, because people are hooked on it like drugs, right? And if you finding out what some celebrities got going on in their life, how does that help you? And is that actually factual? What is it doing to your body, to your health? Because this is holistic. We're talking about wellness here. The knowledge about what somebody supposedly did. You're caught up in that. Oh my God. You heard about such and such. They just busted him and he was found to have, and then the investigation, and then what they found when they went to his house, they did, you're like, oh. And you know what happens to your brain? Because your brain can't conceive that's not you. Because your subconscious mind, it only knows what you are and who you are. And your subconscious can't perceive or conceive of anything outside of itself. Anything outside of itself, the subconscious thinks it's us too. So whatever you're focusing on, whatever you're talking about, whatever you're pondering on, whatever you believe in, it thinks it's self. So now your self begins to react and your brain begins to send out chemicals to your body and put you in all kinds of modes of action. There's an emergency. There's a problem because somebody went to jail. Somebody got busted. Somebody had sex with somebody, and your body becomes confused, and now you become delusional, and you start having a type of schizophrenia because schizophrenia is partially believing in things that are not factual. And you get caught up. Now, if you could cut this down, because, we're caught in it. It's like, we can't just throw the whole system away. Well, we could, but you need to move out into some cabin in the woods or totally off the grid. But if you're not ready to do that, just maybe take some time away from these devices and divisiveness and gossip. and get into yourself for a second. Find out who you are. Stop looking for validation with other people, needing other people to agree. Letting other people tell you that you're good at something. And be careful, because you got parasitic people who walk up to you and say, oh my God, your hair looks great. And you say, oh my God, your hair is great too. Or I like your dress. You weren't going to tell the person that. They baited you because they needed some energy. These are succubuses. There's a name for the male ones too. I can't remember what it is. They say, because they'd like some energy. Nobody gave them any energy today. So they give you, right, a compliment. Oh my God, you look wonderful. And your automatic response is to get that back to them. Oh, you look wonderful too. In your mind, you're saying, well, they don't, but I got to give them something because they gave me something. No. Somebody says you look wonderful. Thank you. Keep walking. Take it. Because you get caught up in giving away energy. And the more energy you're giving away, because we live in a parasitic society, everybody that lives in the mainstream is sucking energy from everybody else. Somebody's the host and somebody's the parasite. Somebody's the pimp and somebody's the hoe. You can say whatever. You don't have to say it like that, Dr. B. Why not? You're talking about who the prostitute is and who the pimp is. Have you looked at that for a second? If you're doing a bunch of things you don't want to do just for money, just for friendship, just so you can stay in the group, just so you can stay in the family, guess what? That could be possibly prostitution. Well, it's my family. I have to go. You don't have to go. My friends all threw rocks and stones at her, so I've got to throw the stone too. Wow. My friends are losers, so I need to be a loser too. They call that winner's remorse. And when you've dumbed yourself down so that you could be accepted, then you may be living what they call the fawn personality. It's psychology. Look it up, the fawn personality. You're always there to help everyone. You're the first one there and the last one to leave. You just want to make everybody happy. You're the life of the party. In fact, that's why they call you. Call Jenny Mae. Jenny Mae is the life of the party. So in other words, if Jenny Mae don't come, there's not going to be any life in the party. We need to call 5 people who are lives of parties. And then that'll make the party happen. Without them, there's not going to be a great party. Are you a person who people are sucking your energy because of who you are and you bring this light? And it's okay if you know this, but are you using the light for yourself? Are you handling your business? What is your goal? Okay, you might have to go to work and let's say you work at Target, or you work at IBM, or you work at some place and you don't really like the job, but is that who you are? Or is that just what you're doing right now so that you can finance what you really truly love to do? On the beach in Jamaica, I'm laying there on the beach, and every morning this group of people who all worked at the same job were on vacation, and all they did on the beach every day was talk about the problems at the job back in Detroit or Chicago or wherever they were from. I couldn't take it. They weren't on vacation. And it was mostly gossip and conjecture and lies and deceit and ego. Ooh, this is a dis-ease. So a lot of folks are haunted by what we can call spiritual parasites. spiritual parasites. What is spirit? It's one of those words like love. Everybody has a different description of what it is. So when I was studying metaphysics, which is interesting to study metaphysics because meta means unknown, the unknown physics. It's crazy because they told me you can't fail. When you're in school for metaphysics, you can't fail. You know why? Because it's unknown what you know. What you're looking at is your philosophy. That's how you see things. Huh? Yeah. Study of the unknown, the unseen, metaphysics, or the unprovable sometimes. Spirit, the way we were taught, spirit means breath. 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 And when you breathe, air, oxygen, vapor spirals through your lungs and goes out and spirals into the environment. Breath. Like oxygen is a part of breath. Ah. Each time you breathe, it's basically saying, ah. And you're taking in this energy. And when you breathe in, you inhale, there's a small gap just before you exhale. Because it has to stop before it goes the other way. It's like if you're driving one direction, you got to stop for a second to reverse. That little space is a gap. That's space, the final frontier in between two things. Like I said earlier, the theta state is in between two places. In between the exhale and the inhale is this gap. And when you breathe, that is spirit. And they say your spirit leaves when you stop breathing. And the way we were taught, spirit is different than soul. Soul is the life force of all things that's there, and it can't be manipulated or changed. It's the all of all. It's the akasha. It's everything. Everything is everything, and everything is made up of soul if it's living. And then what is living? So that becomes another thing. What is actually living and what is not? Because we also learn that minerals and stones and things are alive. Everything has some level of consciousness. Well, no, that's not common knowledge. Yeah, I know it's not. Because of the ego of whoever taught you. The mindset of whoever taught you that trees, they're not alive. They say trees have thousands of times more levels of consciousness than we have. They take in all your breath. Trees, plants, they suck in the carbon dioxide and convert it into oxygen. The air you breathe is created by plants and the ocean. For those of you who are just coming online, welcome to, Doctor B's Natural Insights, Dr. B's Natural Solutions for Elevated Health and Wellness. I'm talking about several things, but really I'm talking about one thing. And some of you can feel, where I'm going here. And what I'm doing is just giving you some of the insights that I have gathered, especially in the time that I've been off, because I took some time off. And many of us sometimes need to take some time off and stop pushing and pushing. Well, Dr. B, they want you. They need you. Well, then I need Dr. B. I need to be me sometime. I've got to be me. I've got to be me. Isn't that a song from back in the day? I'm not who you think I am. You've got a decision, a choice, a reference of who Dr. B is. But who is that really who Dr. B is? I've got family. I've got a life. I've got things I'm dealing with. I'm not perfect. There is no perfection. So if you're out here looking for perfection and to get some special level of consciousness where you're deep is real deep. Some folks is too deep. Too deep. Sometimes we just need to be shallow, have a little fun. Is that okay? So right now we're on the subject of spirit and parasites, spiritual parasites and energy vampires and things like that. But before we go on, I'd like to find out who's here. If you're here for the first time, put it in the chat that you're here for the first time. Who is here for the first time, and how did you hear about either Dr. B or Elevation or this particular webcast? If you're here for the first time, I'd love to know who's here for the first time. And if you're a veteran and you've been here before, also put in there, how did you hear about us? Did you hear about us on, one of these platforms or one of these radio shows? Or, we've been, doing this thing since 1994. Yeah, some folks may not have heard because we've been working in smaller, groups of people, but I'd like to know how you heard about this. And if you're interested, how is this affecting you? Is this good or is it good? Is this helpful? These points of view, do they help you get more of a idea of what could be? Because that is the goal of us here at Elevation Time, to help folks elevate into the moment of now. And there's only now. And allow the moment to be what it is. And be fully immersed in the nowness, in the moment, versus being fully immersed in the past or even the future. Because when the future comes, they call it now, to now. I like to call it tomorrow. And in this moment, find a space to find yourself. Instead of being sucked and blown like the wind and sucked into ideas and feelings and having your brain formed. They say, the whole world is like now, they got this thing with the plastic, the microplastics. They found plastics everywhere. In the rainforest, they found microplastics. Well, a lot of folks, their brain has become like microplastics because their brain is being shaped and formed by things other than self. We'd like folks to help find themselves and what they truly love and become creative again and loving again. If your mindset says that the enemy is after me, then you're a victocrat. Everything is after you. Everything is bad. It's getting worse. Things are getting worse and worse, Dr. B. They are. Things have never been this bad. They haven't? Where are you getting that mindset? Who told you that? How bad would it be if you turned off your social network and your news? How bad would it be? Are you being told, coerced, manipulated into thinking, feeling, and agreeing to things that may not be agreeable or provable? Think about that for a minute. Is it true that things are really bad right now? They might be not so good for you. There's some challenges we all are going through. Oh yeah, there's some challenges, especially now. There's an energy right now where a lot of us are going through changes because we're in between ages. We're going from one age to a new age, one mindset, one paradigm into a new paradigm. And whenever that happens, there's going to be challenge. Just like when you're going from the southern hemisphere to the northern hemisphere in the airplane. There's two different flows of energy. One's going clockwise, one's going counterclockwise. Even airplanes have to be careful how they cross the equator because you're going from one dimension or one time set or one energy field to another. And there's going to be challenge. But think about, take some time to ponder how many things are haunting you from the internet, from your family, from your friends, affecting you, that if you didn't know about, they wouldn't be effective. This is why it may be important for you to take time to go down to the river, go by the lake, go out in nature. Don't take your phone. Go in the woods. This is healthy. We're talking about how to get grounded, how to get healthy, how to get well by finding these spaces where you're not being eaten alive by energetic spiritual parasites that cause you to breathe out of time. Spiritual parasite. Spirit is breath. And a lot of things, they take your breath away. I heard a song, person was singing this song, "Oh, I can't breathe without you, and you take my breath away." This was in a grocery store. And the person was carrying oxygen tanks and had the oxygen, little holes around their nose. And they could just barely sing. And this was a song that was big. It was all over the radio. I can't breathe. I can't live without you. I can't breathe without you. You take my breath away. I really wanted to go up to that person and say, wow, listen to what you're focusing on. Because your reticular activating system brings you more evidence to whatever you're focusing on. And it becomes more and more real. Even though it may not be factual, actual, you're focusing on it. So your perspective and your point of view, right, opens up and it says, this is real. This is happening. They did an experiment where they had 3 sets of people who all needed knee surgery. They all needed the same knee surgery. And they showed them all a video of what the operation looked like. They went through the whole operation and showed the video so that these people would be prepared what was going to happen to them for this surgery to fix their knee. One set, they divided the people up into groups. One set, they opened up their knee and did the actual, they fixed the cartilage, sewed together the ligaments, whatever they needed to do. They did it to that set. The next set of people, they opened them up, sprayed a saline solution inside them, didn't fix any ligaments, and sewed them up. The third set, they made an incision and sewed them up. They didn't even spray saline. Do you know that all three healed at about the same time? In fact, they say the one that they did very little healed even faster than the ones where they actually sewed the ligaments. How is this possible? Does anybody know about this? Dr. Bruce Lipton, he talks about this. That means that the belief was so strong, the visuals that they received, the language, the vibration that they received from the pictures and from the description of what was going to be done to them was so strong that those waves, those ideas, because those are waves of energy, actually created the outcome. All three. Well, Dr. B, it was only in their minds. What difference does it make if it's in their minds? Everything is in your mind. When you believe in something strong enough, if you're there, the references that you've received and the labels that you've received are so strong, you can now actually have a referent, an actual experience. The mind is everything. This is why we're talking about mindset. And you got to be careful, because a lot of what we're involved with has to do with spiritual parasites, taking your breath away. Ideas. Some of these things that you're learning that you think may be conscious could be, this becomes part of your energy field, and it eats you alive. Because we learned that spirit was not only breath, spirit also has to do with how you breathe, and it also has to do with your personality. Some folks are so caught up in what's about to happen, they never breathe correctly. Because when you're in fear, when you're in anger, when you feel the world is bad, you breathe shallow. And if you can control your breath, you can change a lot of things. That's why we created the medicine music. This is why I create medicine music, because it changes your breathing. I'm a drummer, a conga drummer, since a little child. My focus on playing drums and rhythms is what kept me out of a lot of situations. It caused me to fail in school somewhat. Caused me to get in some trouble because I wasn't doing what they told me. I was just playing these drums, and that wasn't acceptable. You can't just play drums all your life. Why not? There's drummers that are multimillionaires. Who told you that? You got to get a good job, put on a suit, and, you need a title, drummer, that's nothing. Is, everything is based on rhythm and sound and vibration and frequency. Frequency is how frequently something is happening. Depending on the frequency of something, it can be your liberator or your lockdown. There's certain rhythms that could lock you down. There's certain voices, certain cadences, certain sounds that could change to your mindset if you're not totally aware of it. It's what we're focusing on. Otherwise, you become a host to parasites. The book that I've been writing for years, which, I always figure I'm done, and then all of a sudden something else comes up. I got to close this book at some point. Yeah, it's been a thing. It's been a huge challenge to finish this book, and that's a whole other story of why. But the book is about mental, physical, and spiritual parasites. And the conversation in this book is so broad because some things you don't think of as parasitic. We hear about parasites, we think they're just the little bugs that live in our bodies. There's all kinds of parasites. There's energetic parasites. There's cosmic parasites. There's friendship parasites, eating you alive. They only call you when they need you. They're never there for you. There's family parasites. They want you to come to the such and such and such. They always want you to come to something because they want your energy. A lot of times your energy is so powerful that you just coming to the event, just being around the people changes the vibration of the space. It changes the environment because many of us are lighthouses, and that light is always shining. A lighthouse never goes out. These folks will take your light if you allow them. So I allow, you got to be careful with that because some things you choose to in no way allow. So I allow myself to say no. Check that. I allow myself to stay home and be alone while y'all go to the party. We're all going down to the such and such and, to celebrate the such and such. I have to go. The mindset is, yes, you have to go because this is what we do. Somebody passed away and they said I had to go to the funeral, and because I happened to be close to that person. So they thought, that was the assumption of how close we were. And I said, no, I'm not going to the funeral. And people are like, well, what do you mean you have to go? And I said, well, that person's not going to be there. The person that transcended or passed away or graduated, they're not going to be there. Well, no, but this is the way you show respect. Listen to you in your mindset. If the person is not there, they've left the body, they left their physical suit. The only way I can show love and respect is to go there and look at the body that's frozen. Or is it that I can go down to the river, or I can do something in my yard, or is there some type of way I can do a meditation or a prayer or create music or plant a tree? Can I do that? No, you got to be there. You get your suit together and get there. It's going to cost me $1,500 to go to this thing. I got to fly across the country in a plane and, breathe that air and deal with that whole thing. And I might not desire to do that. I may not even have it in my budget, but you got to borrow some money. People are angry, especially if they're really religious. I gotta go. What you might need to become is courageous and learn to say no. No, thank you. I'm working on that day. I've got a doctor's appointment. People will leave you alone when you say certain things. My job won't release me that weekend. We're on a very big project. Oh, his job, his job, he works, Master won't let him go. Okay, well, maybe you could just send some flowers. Now you got to tell me what I got to do to respect that person. Send some cut flowers. See, this whole thing about common sense. Somebody earlier said something about common sense. This is common sense. What is common? It is time where we are right now, where we've got to choose for ourselves who we are, who we're going to be, and what we're going to go for. Otherwise, you're caught up in the mindset and the vibration of spiritual parasites that have got you all caught up, and it messes with your personality because the spirit has a lot to do with your personality, your energy field that you've created. You might go to that thing because other people are there. Maybe you're there to support them, and that's okay. That's okay. We're not saying don't do it. Don't say Dr. B said don't go to funerals. Dr. B didn't say that. I just told you why I didn't go to a certain funeral or something for someone. That's Dr. B. You got to live your life. I'm saying you got to find out who you are. And it's always right there in front of you. What do you really love? Whose music are you dancing to? You know, in the studio, you know, it's funny. As soon as you put on a quote unquote hip hop beat, we ain't even got no music yet. It's funny. And then I put on a love song. Folks are like, they may not move. As soon as you put on a hip hop beat, it's automatic. You've been programmed. But there's people around the world that hear that beat and they're not going to move like that. They're like, what is that? What is that? But there are things that we just do automatically because we're supposed to, because that's the way the herd or the hive moves. In order to be powerful, we must become indivisible individuals. Ken says, does this apply to New Orleans funerals? They different over there. I'm not telling you, see, I'm not telling you whether you should go to the funeral, the party, the Thanksgiving, the holiday. I'm not telling you to go or not. I'm saying that sometimes it's not in your spirit. You don't feel it. You don't desire to go. But we go because everybody else wants us to go, and we're looking for validation. You want to be validated. I don't want them not to like me. I don't care if you don't like me. A lot of folks don't like Dr. B. A lot of folks in what you call the conscious community, oh, they don't like Dr. B. Folks can be saying all kind of stuff. I don't care. Let them. Let them say it. I'm minding my business. Dr. B, he makes a mockery of spirituality, and he don't mention Egypt and all that kind of stuff. Well, I might mention Egypt, but I don't know if Egypt was the beginning and the end of it all. I mean, there's a whole lot of people and things. Now we're finding out that old Egypt was in America. Ancient Egypt was in America. And that the Egypt we're looking at might not be the ancient Egypt. It's the new Egypt. Like you got New York. Well, there's a York too. There's a New York. It's like you're a junior. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy James Johnson L. You know what I'm saying? Ankh Jr. It's not like the father. It's a child. Finding who you are is important, and allowing yourself to be who you are, and having allow in your statement. I allow myself to love myself. I allow myself to feel good. I allow myself to feel sad right now. I allow myself to be creative. I allow myself to be alone. I allow myself to love myself. A lot of times you base everything on having something else. You're not successful unless you're married. A lot of people feel like this. Well, I got a husband. I got a wife. You don't. Dr. B, I've never been married. People ask me all that. Well, Dr. B, I've never been married. Oh, how sad. Right. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with me? First of all, you see, I'm a little crazy. I'm a little out there. People say, well, don't say you're crazy. Why? I am. Crazy means cracked away from the mainstream. I'm like an apostate. I move in my own flow. I don't mind. You can't hurt me. Well, he's an idiot. Everybody has an idiot in them because the id is the part of you that's basic before your mindset got formed. The id. I think Dr. B is a lunatic. He is, because sometimes I'm out in the moonlight doing some things privately. That's none of your business. Under the moonlight. That's a lunatic. You okay with that? When you become courageous and mind your business and business your mind and allow yourself to be your best self right now and stay in this moment, everything changes. Is this good or is this good? Remember, course correction is important. Don't get into this thing. I didn't know this stuff a long time ago. Okay, but it's all about course correction. The most successful people in the world are into course correction. Change the course. You're going to sometimes fall on your face. You may fail. Fail to success. The most successful people have failed. You know how many times I've fallen short and backslid and all kinds of stuff? It's the repetition of something. It's doing it over and over and over till you get the result that you desire and then take that to the next level. Keep your word with yourself. Your word is bond. Sometimes you're talking too much and loose lips sink ships. Why are you telling everybody what you got going on in your private life? Where'd this come from? This is because you got spiritual parasites eating you alive, making you do things. Well, they asked me, so I told them. Who? Wow. They asked you. You felt like you had to tell them because courage is the thing that this particular matrix works on. What? Washing out of you. Courage, self-determination, discipline, focus, being alone, being self-aware, self-illuminated, being creative, in the moment, improvisation, course correction. Is this good or is this good? But sometimes, if your mind feels that something happened, a lot of times it does in your mind. Those people that had the knee operation, they all felt it happen and they all healed. So we have to be careful what we're focusing on because that can work for you or it can work against you. What are you focusing on? So it's not about being fine. It's about being refined. Because you can buy fineness now. You can go to the plastic surgeon. You know, you can go down to the beauty spot and they can fine you up. You can put on all the fake stuff in the world to make you look like something you're not. So now you have this reference in this label that's fake. And people now, they're cool with fakeness. Not everybody. You got to be careful when we say what people do. Or even, most people. I was doing an interview the other day and they kept telling me, well, Dr. B, most people. I said, well, we don't even know most people. You don't know most people. How do you know most people? Tic Tac told you what most people were? IG told you what most people were doing? Facebook told you? I know there's other platforms out there too. Telling you what most people are doing. And you went for that. You don't know most people. And if you was minding your business and businessing your mind, you'd know this. So at elevationtime.com, we're helping people live in the moment and be elevated in the moment. Yes, by cleansing. Detoxification. Retreat. Taking a break. Doing something we call taking transition time before you go from one place to another. We've got a lot of classes at Elevation Time. A lot of it's like college over there. So go to elevationtime.com and check out some of the past classes that we've got given in. It's a lot of information over there. And if it works for you, then use it. And you must use it. And it's the repetition. But you got to realize that you may have bumped your head when you were young and gotten amnesia and forgot how to be you. Or you may have never been taught or allowed to be you. This is the time right now, while we're in between ages, when everything is changing, when you get to refine, right, who you are and who you're going to be. As long as they're talking about how bad it is, this means that the opposite is also happening too, because everything is connected to its opposite. Cleansing and detoxification, it's important. But some folks are chronic cleansers. They're always cleansing. I know a sister right now. If I call her, she's doing a cleanse. She's doing a juice cleanse. She's doing a fast cleanse. She's doing a fast. She's doing a water. She's doing this. She's doing that. She's doing a, you know what I'm saying, an embowelment. She was talking about she was doing an embowelment. What is that? Well, this is when, what? All the time. And she's never well. She's always angry too, talking about what the system is doing and who's controlling the world and the chemtrails and what they're doing to. I'm like, wow, if you focus on all that, it becomes real. Chemtrails don't affect Dr. B. Why? Because Dr. B don't focus on that and talk about all the chemicals that's in it and how it's affected me, because I attract it to me, because all these ideas and everything we know is waves of energy. Everything is everything. And you can change your paradigm. How many of y'all would like to come to an event? I am thinking about having an event in Atlanta. And I'd like to know, if we did an all-day event or maybe even a 2-day workshop, how many of you would be interested in coming to that? Because, I'm really good at teaching on the spot with the people, feeling the vibration of the people in the moment. And we'll tie music into it and we'll drop some information. If you're interested in that, one, would you like to come? Two, what would that be worth? What would you be willing to invest? Because I never know, what to charge. That's the big thing. Because, I don't know. People say, well, Dr. B, such and such did his for $25.99 and it was a 3-day event. Okay. I might not be that, go. What would it be worth? In fact, why don't we do this? Why don't you email us at sales? I'm actually, for those of you who do marketing and folks are looking to do events, you can learn from this, right? So try this. Sales at elevationtime.com. If you'd like us to do an event, put down the subject matter. Would you be willing to travel to Atlanta? How much time do you think we need to set this up? Because some folks need 3 months, you know what I'm saying? Some folks say, well, you can do it this weekend. We might do something on the solstice, which is coming soon. I think that's June 20th or 19th or 18th, because there was an event that I was doing in Houston that I'm no longer going to be involved with. So that date is kind of open. We're going to make the event about this. Let's call it How to Change Your Life. In all aspects, I can give valid information that is usable on how to change your life. It works. I've helped a lot of folks change their lives if they do what I'm telling them to do. We'll give you exercises. There'll be sounds and vibrations, and there'll be a whole lot that you can receive in this piece. If you're willing to do it. How many of you think that, yes, we can do it on the solstice? I'd like to hear you. I don't know what to price it at. People say, well, Dr. B, what would it cost? I don't know. What would it be worth to you? Somebody told me that, there's such and such just did a 2-day thing and they charge, it was like 4 figures or whatever. I'm like, really? Because I don't know what other people are doing because I mind my business. And I would like to help folks really shift, and being in the room will be off the chain. We could also play some of the new music. I may bring my drums and do a whole subconscious alignment, or, a sonic immersion at this event. It could be a 1 day, it could be a 2 day. I'm really feeling like maybe 2 days would be great, because 1 day we could talk about subjects and the next day we could actually demonstrate. Let us know if you think that date would be good and how much, you think that, something like that should be, to receive gold. What's gold? What's receiving golden knowledge and golden nuggets worth to you? So send that to sales@elevationtime.com. Just put in there, event, that you'd like to have this event. Okay. And that way I'm not forcing it on people. I'm asking folks, you know what I'm saying? I'm asking permission. Would you like me to? Instead of just, I'm doing this. Okay. And we can also talk about doing this coming to your town. If you would like to promote this, an event like this, coming to your city and putting something together like this. But you would have to market it and all that. You know what I'm saying? I will come. I'm open now to doing that. I was closed to a lot of things. I'm even taking clients now as far as doing some consultations. You see, so you can also go to sales it's elevationtime.com and say, you'd like to get a consultation. You see, and we could talk about what that is. So we're going to take a break. And before we take the break, there's a music project that we've been working on that I've been talking about for a while. Some of you have heard the song I Allow. And there's a new song that has a whole special thing about it. And I'd like to give you a little preview here today of this new track that will be on this new project that is coming soon. My highest choice is in 6 weeks. It may take a little longer now, so just be patient, because creativity doesn't always work on a time clock with a dead line. I don't like dead lines, because that's what kills us, these dead lines. So as we take a break, and you don't have to send the email to, you can put it in this chat what you think that this event could be. Somebody says it's worth. No, what are you willing to invest is different than what it's worth. It's going to be worth its weight in platinum, never mind gold, because I will give my best and give you nuggets, whether it be for your business life, your love life, your, whatever it is. There will be nuggets that we will drop in here that you will not get on YouTube. You will not get it in these, these rants that Dr. B does. You won't get it in the classes that we even have at Elevation. This is going to be something totally unique, because those of you who've come to any live event that I have hosted or been involved with, you realize the visceral event is totally different. It took me a long time to learn to be able to, accept being online. I'm a live person. Music live, creativity live, improvisation live in the moment with the environment. It's going to be amazing. Okay. But what I'd like to do is see what you guys feel. I'm going to play a little bit of this new track. It has a whole story of how it came about. And we just got the vocals in. The vocals on this track is Sister Azare. I sent her the track and she layered the vocals. And wow, it's crazy what ends up happening when we're totally open. So this track is called Alkebulan, The Whole Wide World. So as we take a break for about 4 or 5 minutes, I'm going to play the track and you guys tell me what you think when we come back. Okay. You've been wonderful. And here we go. How do we do this? This is Alkebulan, The Whole Wide World. Brand new. You're the first ones to hear it. I'm previewing it today for the first time publicly. Let's go. Yes. That's El Cableon, the whole wide world. How this came about was that it was brought to our attention that all the people in the world could fit inside Texas. How many of you know this? There's 8 billion people, which I don't know where they get that number because I don't know who's counting what, where they're getting the numbers, but all the people in the world could fit inside Texas and still have space. What? And they keep talking about this population problem. There's too many people. Who told you that? The whole wide world is big enough for us all. El Cableon, some folks say, well, that was the old name of Africa. Well, the research that I actually found was that it was the name of the continent that was everything, which they call Negritos. They call it Pangea. It's got many names. Negritos, or is it Negritos? I think I made that one up. I'm thinking about Fritos, Negritos. Regardless, the world is big enough for us all. We don't have to have fences and walls and states and rules, and you don't have to do and be anything but who you want. But you may, or who you got to go to places where you can be yourself. This is a big world. It's not some little tiny place. And these cities that are overpopulated, that's because people want to be downtown. They want to be where it's all happening, where the clubs are, the drinks are. You know, we can go to happy hour. And I'm trying to figure out why most people are not happy at happy hour. That's why they're drinking like this. And they're trying to be happy because they had a job and they've been whipped all week. I used to go to happy hour and I realized how much money I was spending at happy hour. I was like, all the money I made this week, the extra money, because, you know, after you get your pay all your bills back in the day, you know, there's hardly money left over. You go spend it at happy hour drinking the spirits. This ends up being spiritual parasites. A lot of things that we get into eat us alive and use us as a host. So spiritual parasites aren't just like some things that are just floating through the galaxy, eating us and taking us, and they're evil. It's sometimes the habits that we're in become spiritual parasites because you're breathing, right, for something else. You're living for the city. You're living for other people. You could be haunting your own self. You may just be the enemy until you realize there's a whole world out there. There's a whole wide world, and it's big enough for us all. Al-Kibulan, everything. This, I'm really excited about this one. I don't know how you guys feel to see some of the comments, but my highest choice is that, you really like that one, and if not, then, it may not be for you, but it's medicine music, and it deals with taking your mitochondria and giving your mitochondria energy, because the mitochondria is what creates energy in your body. Certain vibrations, certain sounds, certain frequencies, certain tones, certain rhythms, certain motifs actually can feed the substructure of your body. This is medicine music. And once you begin to dance to this and you begin to groove to this, all of a sudden you're dancing your way out of your constrictions. Didn't George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic say that years ago? You got to learn to dance your way out of your situation. You don't have to do anything but learn to walk in your own footsteps. Be yourself, even if it's just for a short time. It could be 7 seconds a day where you're breathing and you're being yourself, and you're inhaling new energy and you're exhaling everything you no longer desire. Just that breathing in through the nose, inhaling new energy, and then releasing all that you no longer desire. Just the breath. You could do it for 7 seconds, 14 seconds, 1 minute a day that change your life. You could listen to music like this for that was like 7 minutes. It could be life-changing. This is what I've been doing. People go, where you been, Doctor B? You haven't been doing anything. That's because I got to go inside. I got to find my own world inside me. I do what I do for myself. Every formula, every product, every project, things that I'm doing for me, which is for we, because I know we are me. And when we get rid of the M and make that a W, all of a sudden, we're on the ocean of life. And we're all connected. All the oceans, all the water, all the air, all the oxygen is all one. We are one. We are one. We're not so separate. We're not so different. Somebody says, I'm not sure the mix is, well, it's not mixed yet. I was letting you hear something before it's mixed. I'm in the studio, I'm letting you guys come in the studio. It's not perfect. There is no perfection. Then depending on what system, you're listening to it. Yes, there will be an instrumental version. There'll be a vocal version. And actually what we're going to be doing is we're going to be offering versions of these songs that will be high definition. They won't be MP3 downloads. You'll have to get an actual, USB dongle, because it will be the high definition from the studio. That's full bandwidth, so you could really hear it and feel it. See, MP3s, which is what most music plays through today, doesn't vibrate your bones. And it's very compressed, and half of the music is not there. To make it fit in a very small package, they chopped it up. You hear it. You think you hear everything until you hear it full bandwidth, like in a studio, or hear the actual vinyl. Take an old vinyl record and turn it into an MP3 and listen to the difference and go back and forth. You'll see it. You see? It's huge what we're offering, because we're saying, look, you can get the download, but are you willing to invest in the full bandwidth experience? We'd have to send that to you. So we're working on that too, so we can offer these projects, differently. So be on the lookout. What you're hearing, in fact, none of the tracks that I've been playing for you guys that I play are mixed. They're never mixed. They're not done. you're getting to hear. I'm 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 inviting you to the studio. That's another thing we're going to be offering too. In the future, we're going to invite folks to come to the studio and actually be in the studio with us while we actually create something live. That's going to be a whole nother thing. And I'll talk about how the what we use in the studio, how that relates to life. We did a class, we did a workshop like that in Los Angeles, and folks just loved it. We 20 people, because we could only fit 20 people in the average studio. But 20 folks came in the studio and had this experience. And they weren't all musicians. Some of them were, some of just, people who like music and wanted to see the process of creativity. So that's something else that we're going to be offering. So be on the lookout for that. You see, but nothing is perfect. Nothing is finished. You see, so we're all in the process of course correction, and mixing is course correction. Mixing in the studio is course correction. And what I'm doing is I'm shaking the trees and I'm seeing all the fruit fall. See, shake all the trees, get all the fruit to fall. Once the fruit falls, decide and choose which ones are ready, which ones are ripe. That's mixing. That's different than producing. That's different than writing. That's different than composing. Sitting back and being a different person than the producer, a different person than the artist, is the mixer. How do we choose how much of this, how much of that? Maybe a little more of this, a little more of that. We need a little more sauce. We need a little more vanilla. That's what mixing is about. We're mixing our lives. You see, we're in the process of choosing out of all the things that we have gained in our lives right now, what we're going to use on the final mix. Are you ready to do the final mixing of your life? But we got to get rid of some things. Now, a lot of folks have been hitting me up lately, and they're saying it's all these posts about parasites now. Parasites is a big thing now all of a sudden. We started talking about parasites in 1996, and parasites have been in, the mainstream science since the 30s. And as I said earlier, there's many types of parasites, but I like to talk about the ones that affect our physical bodies. Some of them affect our spirit too. There's ectoparasites. Ectoparasites live on the skin or on the hair on the outside. Ecto means outside. Then there's endoparasites. Endoparasites live inside. Endo meaning inside. Then there's enteric parasites. Enteric parasites are parasites that live in the intestine. Enteric. And a lot of the posts we see are talking about enteric parasites. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And how to get rid of them. How to get rid of enteric parasites in your digestive tract. And what the parasites are is beings that live in or on another being and use that being as a host. And they suck the energy. They devour the energy, whether it be minerals, whether it be, nutrients, or just life force energy or blood of the host. In other words, you're the host, you're giving a party, and they come to the party, they eat, they drink, they dance, and they leave, and they don't help clean up, and they leave a mess. Because parasites leave waste. They leave waste. A lot of times what people don't realize is parasites love herbs. Not all of them. I take herbs, Doctah B, and vitamins, and I run and I jog. Parasites do that with you too. They're parasites, so they live beside you. It means a life beside, using you as a host. You could be in the best health and have a 12-pack. Oh boy, you're exercising and you got everything to make you look good. The parasites, they don't care about that, because almost everyone has parasites. In fact, there's a few parasites that actually help you live. They clean up trash in your body. There's a few. They only come on board when you're sick or you're going through something, and they all of a sudden pop up and they just materialize and begin to try to devour some of your mess. And having a few parasites might not be so bad. It's the high population of parasites that cause most issues. And almost every major and minor disease is connected to a parasite. Did the parasite cause the problem? Maybe not. But the parasite is there because of the problem and takes advantage of the imbalance of the cells or the organs or the organ system. I have a very special connection to this subject because I had an experience in the Bermuda Triangle, and I talk about it in some of my, events. I don't get into it too deep because it's very emotional when I even go back to this. This is a deep time in my life where I lost everything, my mind. But I was downloaded in that time when I was scrambled because something took me. When I was scrambled like some eggs in the morning, I was downloaded with information about parasites, mental, physical, systemic parasites, cosmic parasites, human parasites, energetic parasites, electronic, artificial intelligence parasites. 1996 on a Carnival cruise. That's what happened. I was given and downloaded information. I'd been an herbalist for many years, but not really looked at this issue of parasites. Now that we know a lot about parasites, you see a lot of folks talking about how to get rid of parasites. And it sounds good and simple. I'll give you some of the simple ways to get rid of enteric parasites in the intestine. Pumpkin seeds. Eat a handful of pumpkin seeds, raw pumpkin seeds, every day for a week. You can even eat them with pomegranate seeds too. Papaya seeds. Diatomaceous earth, which it's like shards of it's the second hardest substance there is. It's like shards of glass, but they're so small that they actually scrub your digestive tract clean. Somebody said, is there any healthy parasites? No, if they're parasites, they're not healthy. There's friendly bacteria. And there's actually viruses and things like that. All viruses are not bad. Then there's things like herbs, black walnut, the green black walnut hull. It dyes the parasites because some of them are translucent and your immune system can't attack it because your immune system sometimes is going to go after things that are a certain color. There's color coding in the body and the organs and everything. So the green dye in the black hull, in the hull of the black walnut, in the hull of the black walnut, dyes certain parasite, and the immune system comes and destroys them. Then there is wormwood. Did you know that when you look up the herb wormwood, that wormwood that is publicly accepted as the one for parasites isn't the one? It's a very specific type of wormwood. It only grows in one area on the planet. So when we hear wormwood got rid of my parasites, you took the wormwood and you might have felt a little better because wormwood itself is good, but there's a specific type to deal with parasites. Cloves. Cloves helps to destroy the eggs of enteric parasites. Cloves. And there's several other things from around the world that can help deal with enteric parasites in the digestive tract. And yes, that because they're in there and they're causing your digestive tract not to work correctly, you're not digesting well, which can cause bad breath. They change the microbiome, your friendly bacteria. You know that balance, it's a very special sacred balance to your digestive tract. And that's also your third chakra. You know, that's your solar plexus. There's a sunlight glow inside your solar plexus. In the largest bundle of nerves in your body is in your gut. And if you have a lot of parasites, your solar plexus can never really work correctly because your gut is not balanced. Your gut bacteria is off. Okay. So, like somebody says here, get rid of parasites, then the digestive tract, pumpkin seeds, papaya seeds, yes, black walnut, wormwood, cloves. This is for digestive parasites. And there's a few more. What I specialize in is called systemic parasites. Systemic parasites, they may live in the digestive tract for a while. They might even spawn in the digestive tract. But these parasites live throughout the body. Heartworms. Then there's flukes and flatworms. There's many different types. Threadworms. They live throughout the body. There's certain parasites that live in the pancreas. And if you've got pancreatic fluke worms, then this may be the root of what we're calling diabetes. And remember, the pancreas isn't just about the blood sugar. The pancreas is also making digestive enzymes. Along with the liver, there's liver flukes. There's parasites that live in all these different organs that these herbs that we just listed do not affect, because those are digestive system parasite herbs. They work well. The biggest issue we have is not the digestive parasites for most of us. Some folks it is. Most people, it's the systemic parasites, like the one that lives in the brain, in the amygdala, or the amygdala. There's two of them, so they call them amygdala, inside of your brain. The amygdala, if you look it up, the amygdala has a lot to do with your emotions, your reactions. The amygdala has to do with how you perceive fear, success, happiness, joy, love. The amygdala. Look it up. But this one parasite called toxoplasma, it affects the amygdala. And most of your herbs that you're going to use for your digestive tract are not going to deal with toxoplasma because it's in your brain. And most herbs do not enter your brain, only a few, because there's a thing called the delicate blood-brain barrier. Because your brain is so delicate that certain substances, certain nutrients can't touch it. So a lot of what we're taking, you know, lion's mane and a few other things, yeah, some of those do pass the blood-brain barrier. There's a few that do. You see, Bacopa, you know, some of those things do affect the blood that goes through the blood-brain barrier. But the best way to affect something happening in the brain is by changing the frequency of the blood. And also cutting out processed sugar, because see, processed sugar shuts down most of the natural functions of the brain. I didn't say it turns it off. I said shuts down. It means turns it down, especially the hypothalamus, which is the gland that tells us when we've had enough of something and when we should walk away. If you're having issues walking away and not making good decisions, this is caught somewhere between your amygdala and your hypothalamus. You see, this is my specialty. Not just parasites, systemic parasites. I don't even hear. I had never heard anybody talk about them before till I met Dr. Kwaku Dr. Kwaku Ando, who became one of my teachers, who schooled me on a whole nother level to this, about this, and why I was on the planet and what my purpose was. It was to help people rid themselves of parasites, mental, physical, spiritual, cosmic, interdimensional, emotional. That's what I'm here to do. Music can do it. Certain frequencies of music can change the way the chemistry of your body, especially your brains, which is between your ears. So I created a very special program. Some of you here know about it. It's called the Elevated Total Body Program and the Total Body Program. Let me show it to you. So here I talk a little bit about this. This is from another class. What is a parasite? What is toxoplasma? This parasite can form cysts in the brain, which may disrupt neurotransmitter balance and cause inflammation. The parasite may produce toxins that can alter brain chemistry. Your brain is all about chemistry. So if your brain chemistry is off, your thought and thinking and choices are off. Studies have shown that a higher prevalence of toxoplasma antibodies in individuals with schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, obsessive compulsive disorders. We just named most of the folks in America. If you look up the definition of these words, I don't have schizophrenia. Well, you need to look up the definition of schizophrenia. There's extreme schizophrenia. Then there's milder schizophrenia, which has to do with people making choices and things and believing in things that they don't even understand. Bipolar disorder? Right about now, we got tripolar, quadrupolar, pentapolar. People, you don't even know who you're talking to at the time. Folks are changing right in the middle of the speech. Hey, Doctor B, I don't. It seems like they're changing. You keep changing. I don't know who I'm. Every time I see you, you're different. Obsessive compulsive disorder. Now, we always look at the extreme model of this, but there's people that can't stop doing something. They do it over and over and over. These are like a lot of habits. A lot of our habits are obsessive compulsive disorders. Toxoplasma. Schizophrenia, a serious mental disorder in which people interpret reality abnormally. We've been talking about that all day. This is what I was talking about. This is from your dictionary. Schizophrenia is a serious mental disorder in which people interpret reality abnormally. As television is doing this. Your apps are doing it. Your phone is doing it. Social media, the news is doing it. The government is doing it. The church is doing it. The minister's doing it. Your parents did it. And you're doing it. Schizophrenia may result in some combination of hallucinations. What was that, Jimmy? I didn't hear anything. I heard something. I think they're after us. The enemy's coming. I don't see any enemy. They're coming. I'm telling you, I heard about them on TikTok. Delusions. How many people are delusional today? Totally delusional. Extremely disordered. Extremely disordered thinking and behavior that impairs daily functioning and can be disabling. People with schizophrenia, let me move this asset here. How do I do that? There we go. People with schizophrenia require lifelong treatment. That's why your government and the doctors and the psychiatrists and the psychologists and the social, what do they call them? The social engineers are trying to protect you from yourself because you need lifelong treatment for agreeing with some things that don't even make any sense. Well, it's just a belief. Because that's all about philosophy. We have these philosophies that may not be based on anything factual. That's why I talked earlier about what something is, a label versus a reference versus a referent. Somebody told me, oh boy, get to the point. This point is huge if you just take your time and keep your mouth shut. Stay focused on what, if it's for you, if it's part of what you can use it. But this is why a lot of people are like this. But we thought it was something else. He's just a little weird. I'm weird. And I might have some of this too, because I was born and raised in America too. I watch television. Some of that stuff is still in me. Virus of the mind. These are ideas that are called memes. Ideas that we all agree with that may not be based in anything. They may not be based in anything factual, but it's been injected. These ideas are injected in your mind. This is a really good book, Virus of the Mind by Richard Brody. We've been under biological warfare. Microorganisms like viruses, bacteria, parasites, fungi, protozoa, or toxins produced by them that give rise to disease in man, animals, plants, when deliberately dispersed in an area to create illness or cause death or mental imbalance. Yes, biological warfare. These are smart bombs that they've been using these since what? The 50s? Maybe longer than that. No, when they conquered America, they used what? Diseases. Give them Indians some blankets, which you know has got plague on them. Walk into the town and shake everybody's hand, knowing that they don't have any. These indigenous people don't have any defense against some of this stuff, because folks, some folks were sleeping with animals. I mean, it gets deep. It's a type of biological warfare. So we all have some of this in us. A lot of these illnesses and parasites are zoonotic transmission. We get them through zoonotic transmission. That means from animals. We live with animals. We love animals. We got a love-hate relationship with these animals. 1 minute we pet them, the next minute we roasted them. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. And we live with them really closely. We're the first group of people to live closely with animals in the house. I'm not telling you don't do it. I'm telling you that all of them have something that you can get and will get. And most people that have pets that they live closely with, that are in their bed, that they kiss and lick on and all kinds of stuff, have the animals' diseases. And they may not even be something that affects the animal. Waiting for the mothership to come. Look at this parasite. This one lays over 5,000 eggs a day. This is the one in the middle. Looks like a flying saucer. And all of these little beings live inside this thing and fly around through the body. It's like space to them. It's a whole universe. These are protozoa. Some of these are blood-sucking protozoas. They live in the blood and they eat blood all day. And you're wondering why you're anemic. Because a lot of folks have these things, bugs living in them, eating them to death. Look at this. This thing here is a parasite. These are parasites around here, but the thing at the bottom that's got the spiral inside, it's called a cyst. So you heat your food up, right? These things swim inside this thing and it closes up. And some cysts can withstand temperatures up to 1,500 degrees and freezing, and been in freezing ice for thousands of years, and you thaw it out and these suckers come alive. We don't know too much about what's real. This stuff that we don't understand yet, that we're just now waking up. We're just thawing out. Got the caveman mindset. We allowed it. Look at this. It's got a mouth, a vagina, and a penis. Don't even need to go out on a date. The hookworm. How many people got hookworms? A lot of folks got hookworm. It drinks blood. These are called waste pools outside of feedlots where they have the animals. What do you think these animals poop and peep to? to these things called feedlots. I mean, waste pools. And this stuff seeps down into what? The water table, into the springs, and then floats out to the ocean. No, that's why most of us is full of shit. Because the water. I'm not going to go too deep into that. Cryptosporidiosis and Giardia lamblia. It's in almost all tap water. These two parasites, which comes from the waste of animals, like these where cows and all these animals poop out on the farms. Because the cow is domesticated, it's not totally natural. It doesn't break things down enough so it goes back to the soil. It's not like natural buffaloes and elk and all of them. Something is off because of the chemicals and the antibiotics and stuff they give to these cows, that the poop don't even go back to the earth. So they pile it up. And they call them, I forgot what they call them, brown hills or something. It was in Texas and they were breaking it down to me. But the rainwater and all of this stuff comes down and these parasites are created. One of them is Cryptosporidium, which means crystalline parasite. Crypto means crystalline. And Giardia lamblia is from these poop hills, from cows, chickens, and pigs. And it gets into the water system. It's in all the water, unless you got a really, really good filter. So toxoplasma, talking about how it comes from chickens and pigs. It starts out in cats, but it ends up in everything. And Cryptosporidium is in everything. And this is why with Cryptosporidium, when a person is pregnant, they can't be around cats. I don't have any cats, Dr. B. Do you know how many million cats there are for every person? Not millions, thousands. There's thousands of cats for every person. And it's not just that toxoplasma started in the cat. It's no longer in the cat. Where's the book? There's a book. I wasn't going to talk about this today. This is all on the fly. So there's a book. This is Your Brain on Parasites. Where is it? Get the book. This is Your Brain on Parasites. I thought I had it right here. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Very good book. This is Your Brain on Parasites. It breaks down how tiny creatures manipulate our behavior and shape society. By Kathleen McAuliffe. Really, really good book. And she doesn't say it all because she wants to still have a career. So you got to be careful because they will come and get you. Because this parasite piece is so huge. They say these little things, these little creatures is what is shaping society and making a whole lot of folks sick. You can take your pumpkin seeds and your wormwood and do all that. We're talking about systemic parasites. They live throughout the body. Those herbs may not get there. But what will is by changing the frequency of the blood. Pfisteria. Y'all know about this one? And the pictures at the bottom are the same parasite. Every time you look at it under the microscope, it changes its form. Highly intelligent. The book is This Is Your Brain on Parasites by Kathleen McAuliffe. How tiny creatures manipulate our behavior and shape society. We're talking about these bugs. They're used as germ warfare to control people's minds and get people crazy. And people don't understand what love is and got issues with each other and competing and fighting. What they don't realize the world is big enough for us all. Why? Because you've been manipulated through germ warfare. This parasite right here causes memory loss. What? Yes. Brain lesions. Symptoms of parasites: low energy, depression, anger, negative thinking, cancer, virus, colds, flus, allergy, loss of appetite, loss of taste and smell, heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, menstrual problems, vaginal infections, sexual dysfunction, over and underweight, drooling while sleeping, itchy nose, anus, itchy ears, nose, anus, and body, grinding the teeth, gas and bloating, chronic fatigue syndrome, pain in the joints, insomnia, depression, bipolar, tripolar, pentapolar, food and drug cravings, rash, pimples, things floating by the eyes, epilepsy, liver, kidney, spleen issues, chronic hunger, unclear vision, and mental imbalances. And when we say unclear vision, we're not just talking about your eyesight, it's talking about what you're seeing in your mind. This is just some of the symptoms of parasite. 28 days. It takes 28 days to disrupt the feeding, the mating cycles of these type of parasites. We're not talking about enteric or intestinal parasites. We're talking about systemic parasites. To do this, we're using herbs, some of these herbs you've never heard of, but we're also using flower essences. Flower essences are substances that derive from flowers that reconnect you to your original angels or your original light wave that's coming to you from the cosmos. We're a collection of light waves coming from the cosmos. They're strings, right? And there's like a set of magnets around your neck that actually anchors you to your body. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Flower essences help you on an emotional level reconnect to your original, right, purpose. And they do it really quickly. And there's a whole study on flower essences. This is not flower, or this is not essential oils. They're totally different. Also, we use essential oils, certain essential oils, which are at a higher vibration than some herbs, because herbs work more on the body. Essential oils work more on olfaction, which is the oldest system in your body, the memory of smell. And certain smells create a chemical cascade throughout your body and create chemistry to help your body balance itself, to find, what they call balance. Yeah, homeostasis. We also use special types of water. The water that we make all our products from is a water that is high in silica, because silica is what holds your body together. You can't just use water. High silica water. High silica water is water that underground is running across gold. There's a couple places on the planet where there's springs where the water is running. The water underground is running across gold, which creates an electrical current. It's a type of gold water, but not the one they're selling out in the world. This is a different type of gold water, and it's high in silica. Silica holds the whole body together. Then we also use sound and light frequencies. I figured out how to put sound into the herbs, into these products, into these elixirs. They're not herbs, they're actually elixirs. People say, well, why do you call them elixirs? Because an elixir is not an herbal substance. It's a combination of things that makes an alchemical product. These are alchemical products. Okay. And somebody's asking me, Dr. B, do you have a discount code? Yes. Here's your discount code. I allow. Yeah, I allow. That's good until Sunday night at midnight. But when you use this music, these frequencies, certain parasites, they live based on frequency. They live based on sound. There's sound parasites. There's frequency parasites. Yes. There's beings that live in sounds. Do you hear me now? There's beings that live in sounds. What? Yes. They didn't teach you that at school. There's certain frequencies that you play that conjures certain spirits, certain entities. My thing is, let's turn these entities into outities. It's got a lot to do with music. And that's part of why I was chosen to do this, because I was a specialist in music who got into natural health because I got sick. And I was able to tie music and health and herbs and wellness and nutrition all together. It's not just rap music. It's all kind of music. Some of your popular music, your love songs, some of those frequencies and what it's tuned to is parasitic and is creating havoc, especially if your music is tuned to A440. It's the reason why in 1957 or 56, whatever it was, they decided to tune all instruments to A440. Why? It's because they needed to conjure up these energies that will keep you divided, to keep you broken. Even though you're dancing and you love your great love song, if you could tune it to the proper sacred frequencies that are connected to the earth, within the earth harmonics, changes everything. Changes everything. That's the kind of music that Doctah B makes, music that is tuned to the sacred frequencies. Okay. So also, we use light waves. There is this, I should have brought my light. There's a light, a quantum light that we use. We put light waves in all of these products to actually change the frequency and uplift all the energy 10 times. Because once you put something in a bottle and you make it and you send it out, the energy changes unless you lock in certain light waves. So the philosophy that we use to make these products or to create these products is do everything you can to create the highest vibration, to create something that's going to be something that's usable, something that's absorbable. Did you know a lot of products that you're taking that you call natural herbs, your body doesn't even accept? Did you know this? Just because it's an herb and it's supposed to do this, you may not accept it, first of all. Second of all, where did it come from? There's a difference between, olive leaf that grows in Oregon or in Iowa or in Atlanta and the olive leaf that's in North Africa. Did you know that there's a huge difference but where these herbs and where these substances, these minerals and these crystals are from? And we also use special minerals from the Great Barrier Reef. Every one of these products has it. Minerals from the Great Barrier Reef. This is part of the philosophy, because without minerals, there's no action, because the body is looking for minerals. That's what the body's really looking for. If you had enough of the right minerals, you wouldn't need to eat. The body's looking for minerals. Your body is a juicer. You hear me? Your digestive tract is a juicer. I don't care how much you eat and what you eat. Your body squeezes it and gets the juice or the oil out. And the rest goes away as waste. Dr. B, where are you getting your protein? You don't eat meat. Your body squeezes the meat. It gets the blood, the lymph, and the waste out. Most animal products of red meat and white meat, most of that has uric acid in it from the urine. When the animal dies, it sucks up the pee from the bladder into the muscles. Did you know this? So it's high in uric acid, urine. That's why you're pissed off half the time. I'm not telling you don't eat meat, because there's ways that you might be able to do this. And I don't tell people they need to be vegans. I just say while the cleanse is happening, you get a booklet, and the booklet tells you how to eat while you're doing the cleanse. And the cleanse lasts for 28 days. It's 28 days because you've got to interrupt the cycle of these systemic parasites. Now, along the way, we also have the herbs in here that are dealing with the enteric parasites. We got that. You'll see them. You say, oh, yeah, I recognize that. Oh, yeah, we put that in there because we got to deal with them too. But that's not our main thing. It's the systemic parasites. Right now is the time for cleansing, right? And detoxification. Yes, somebody says my olive oil is Moroccan. Yes, that is the real olive oil, the best olive. I shouldn't say real. The other ones are real. They just may not be the best. Plants that have been through a certain thing, or plants that have been challenged, their environment they grew up where they're challenged, those are going to be your best ones. So let me mention this too. I don't know of any other cleanse that deals with spiritual parasites. I don't know of one. So what we did was created the elevated total body paracleanse program. This one, now the other one, let me go back. Let me be clear. This parasite cleanse doesn't deal with toxoplasma or the superbugs. This one deals with the average systemic parasites. But the ones that come from that were created through germ warfare, they're different. They're highly intelligent, and it's very challenging to get them to leave the body. So we created the elevated total body paracleanse program for systemic parasites, detoxification at a cellular level, toxoplasma, and superbugs. And now we have included these substances that deal with spiritual parasites. There's an herb that I found out about 2 years ago that's used on the continent of what you call Africa. I think it's the Congo is where it actually is. It deals with spiritual entities. A lot of us have entities we don't even know we have. They pass down through the family. And you may feel you're doing great in your life, but you have no idea what it's like to be without this entity that's only allowing you to do a little. It's never allowing you to maximize the minimum. When you're able to maximize the minimum, take the little bit that you have and make a lot, oh, you're on it. Some people think they need a lot. You only need a little of certain things. So this particular program, this is the some people say the Rolls Royce, but even a Rolls Royce is not what you think it is. It is the creme de la creme. It's the top vibrational cleanse because it also deals with spiritual parasites. I was on the desert. Some of you actually, I took you with me, and I was online on IG, and these plants actually were giving me information. I get information from certain plants, and they told me they wanted to be in the cleanse because they dealt with spiritual parasites. This was like maybe almost a year and a half ago, maybe. And the information that was downloaded to me that because of what was coming, and this had to do with the election and people's mindset and all this stuff that's happening right now, what was coming, people would be taken by spiritual parasites like never before. People have been taken by mindsets, by, we've crystallized parasites in the phone and social media, in the feeling of lack and limitation and loss, and we're victims. And oh God, look what's happening to the country, the world. A lot of people believe that this is the worst of the worst, and it's not. It's all connected to everything. Everything is everything, and everything is connected to its opposite. So we put some herbs and some crystalline substances in this cleanse as of a year ago that deals with spiritual parasites. And people are writing us from all over saying, Dr. B, something came off of me. Something came out of me because I specialize. And a lot of folks say, well, Dr. B, come on now, you can't. I'm telling you what research I have found, and we have seen the effectivity of this program, which is now, from what I hear, the #1 parasite program for systemic parasites there is. Because nobody looked at it like I did. Nobody looks at life like you do. You're unique. Use your uniqueness and stop following the crowd. Stop trying to get a degree, right? And being somebody else. Get your own 360 degrees by experiencing life. So this is the elevated total body paracleanse program, available at elevationtime.com. And if you use that discount code, I allow, you get 15% off of $99 or more. And that's till Sunday at midnight. And here's one other thing. If you'd like to become a member, by becoming a member, guess what? You get 10% off of everything. There's classes, workshops. There's so much stuff on the Elevation site. You get 10% off of All of that by becoming a member. Now you could take your membership, right? And when you see your prices, when you go to the membership dashboard, those prices are already discounted. Some people say, well, I was looking at my cart, Dr. B, and I don't see the discount. It's already there. So this $374 would be 10% less automatically. So that's like 37 something dollars. I think it's something like that. But you could take your I allow discount code as a member and receive another 15% off for this weekend. So becoming a member and using the code, which is alive until Sunday, allows you to tap into some things that the average person doesn't know about. You become a winner by cleaning up your mind. There's things you just don't know about. And don't think that because you're a vegan, you don't have parasites. Who told you that? Parasites, there's vegan parasites. There's parasites on vegetables, in the air, in the water. They're everywhere. You can't get away from parasites unless you live in some type of a, hermetically sealed box, in a spacesuit. And even those are not sealed good enough, because when people go up in space, you see they put them in, stasis for like a week or two, washing them down and cleaning them because they think something might be in the suit. So there's also things living in space. Some folks, the nerves, it's the nervous. When you start changing, folks come at you and your nerves could be affected. Heaven on Earth helps to balance your nerves. This is a product I made for my mother. This was one of my first products. She had MS and she had these muscle spasms, and she was on edge a lot, and this really helped her. Heaven on Earth is for your nervous system. This doesn't come in the cleanse. This is separate. These are add-ons. Iron Essential. Everybody needs iron. You're not getting enough iron in the world out here. You're not going to get enough in your plants because it's not in the soil, unless you're in the Caribbean. If you're around the equator, there's lots of iron in the soil. But most of our farms and our farmland has wasted away and washed away down to the equator because that's a centrifugal force. So if you're iron deficient, you don't have courage. You can't say no very well. Folks can get you to do all kinds of stuff because you feel weak. You're tired. So folks have anemia, right? They deal with energy loss, and because the energy vampires are sucking them. If you've got iron poor, tired blood, then there's nothing you're ever going to do to get your energy up, because that's what you need. Iron to carry oxygen to your cells, nutrients to your cells, and you're never getting enough of it without iron. And this is a iron deficient country, North America. Platinum Life, really quickly, I want to wind this up. This is for pineal gland decalcification, so that you can now start having those visions and start knowing, and then have that intuition come back online that was there when you was a child. You can get into peak performance, increase life expectancy. We used to call this grow young at one time, because it helps your telomeres repair themselves, which are parts of your genes that when they break off, those telomeres cause your cells to die and you age. So this has got to do with increasing your life force. And this was something we created along with Dick Gregory. And this was what he was using to expand his life. He loved this product. That's why we call it the Gregory Reserve. So it's for anti-aging. It's energizing, repairs telomeres, heavy metal detox. Everybody's got heavy metals. I don't care. If you breathe in air, you got heavy metals. If you're breathing air conditioning, air, you got heavy metals. So this helps to detox heavy metals and for environmental protection. And one last thing, focus. A lot of us can't stay focused. So we get caught up in mass distraction. You're in everybody's business. You take focus, all of a sudden your mind, this is called a nootropic. This helps. Nootropic are things that help your mind, help your brain, so that you could be clear about your vision and mind your business and business your mind. This one is off the chain. Help you with memory. You begin to remember who you really are. Increase the tension, discipline, confidence, and you begin to feel limitless and unstoppable. Yes. So, my highest choice is that today you have received something that you could use. We offered a business workshop. Was that yesterday? The day before. And if you go check that out, that's still on YouTube too. So folks who are looking to create their own bank, there's some ideas there, how clean up your credit. Go check that out and see if that's something you could use. So we're going to be having more of these type, platforms, offers also. But for this weekend, I allow is your 15% off discount code. Put I allow in just before you check out, and you'll receive that. And if you become a member that of the Elevation website, you are now getting a discount on everything, and you also get some things in the membership channel. Like there's some videos about aliens. Whew. Only in the membership. There's some recipes in there. There's some books. There's a lot of information in the membership, and I'm going to be also offering, we have offered in the past, but we're going to offer more events and ideas and things only for members. So, if you choose to really, be involved and stay involved, then maybe become a member. It's up to you. So up until Sunday at midnight, the sale starts now. When does the sale start? It starts now up until Sunday at midnight. Ashe, Doctah B, can my 1-year-old daughter take Master Mushroom Tonic? Just a little bit, maybe a couple drops. I'm going to see if I can answer a couple questions. Yeah, if you're dealing with any chronic illness, anything that's been around more than 3 months, which is a chronic illness, then the Elevated Total Body Program is where I would start. Okay. And if you're dealing with, viruses, a lot of folks got viruses, or they took some type of jab and they actually have the virus in their body. There's a product we have called X Factor. And you could put this with your program. This takes it to another level. This deals with the unknown. And viruses are kind of strange and they're almost unknown because they're not DNA, they're not RNA. They're like strange little robots. So this one is dealing with viruses and virus-like activity, or what we call cancer type activity, which is, they're intertwined. This thing about viruses versus cancer, and they find that most people with cancers actually have a combination of bacteria, parasites, viruses, and extreme imbalances. And you could eat the best diet ever and still end up with this one because it's environmental, it's emotional, it's electronic. We're going to be talking about the EMFs and the radiation that's in the air and how to protect yourself from radiation. You see, there's devices that you can use. And if you're interested in, let me just give you this really quickly. If you're interested in devices, and you'll see some on the website, but they're always sold out, that can help you to eradicate the effects of radiation, then go to this website, improveyourlife.us. They have all kinds of, they got yoga mats, they've got things for your water system, lights, those lights that I use. They help you change energy. And this is all based on quantum physics. These devices are amazing. I actually have them on right now. There's certain ones you wear. There's one I have in my pocket. No, there's one in my phone. There's one for my phone. It's called the Phone Protect. But you get those devices. If you'd like to buy them directly from the manufacturer, go to improveyourlife.us, and you have to say that Doctah B sent you, because it's not really a public site. You can look at things, but if you purchase, you must say Doctah B sent you. And when you go to the site, you'll see what I'm talking about. This is some next level stuff here. And we have them all over the buildings and the houses. And, most of our family, we have these things to help to not block radiation, but to change the frequency of the erratic radiation. If I had lupus, I would do the elevated total body program. I would actually call me because it's a lot going on with lupus. Any of these things you can call, or you can email me, Doc B. Let's see, let me give you the direct email, Doc B737 at what is it? gmail.com. Okay. So if you have certain serious issues, you can call before you order, and I can go over it with you. Be patient. Leave a message. It may take me a day or so to get back with you. Sometime a little longer, depends on, because we get a lot of emails and a lot of folks from all over the world who are looking to heal their mind, bodies, and spirits. And that's what we do here at Elevation. We help you help yourself. We don't fix, we don't cure. We help you make better choices that can help change your life. So for those of you who are members, thank you for being a member and being dedicated to something. Those of you who are changing your lives and looking at being better, congratulations. You're not alone. It's not easy to change, but it can be simple by taking one step at a time. And if I were you, I would do one of the cleanses, either the total body or the elevated total body program, every time the seasons change or every 3 months, because everything in the planet is going through levels of toxicity, but also it's cleansing itself. So you got to figure out the biorhythms of nature. You see, this program that we create, whether it be music or whatever, is all based on the frequencies of nature. Everything is not bad. It's just your angle at it. Okay. Can you feel it working when you take it? Some people can feel it immediately. There's people said, as soon as I put it in my mouth, I felt it. But also, it's not the type of cleanse to have you run into the bathroom where you can't control your, movements because you got to stay near the toilet. No, this is very mild. All the products that I use are a special classification of herbs, and they're called adaptogens. Look up adaptogenic herbs. They adapt to the environment. A lot of herbs are very abrasive and they're forceful. A lot of herbs are poisonous, actually. But sometimes you need a little poison because, if the poison is, less than the poison you already got, it may help you to flush out the poison you have or the toxin you have or the malady that you have. Okay. So my highest choice is that, you're going to do something to change your life. This is a very good time. Take a break on, social media sometimes. Take a break on telling everybody all your ideas. Take a break on asking other people for validation. Take a break on talking too much about nothing. Go find a place called love. Go be with somebody who is loving and make love out of the things that are not love. That's alchemy. Turn the things in your life that are not love into love. That could change everything. If you're interested in what we're doing, go to elevationtime.com. We would like to thank you all for being here and, investing this particular time. This will be up on YouTube, so you can share it, tell your friends. My highest choice is that you've gained something. I'd like to say thank you to the staff of Elevation and the friends of Elevation who have all helped to create this platform, those who assist me in what I'm going through and we in what we're going through. I'd like to also thank all of you right now on the planet for just being. Give yourself a round of applause. Give yourself a round of applause. Thank you. Thank yourself every once in a while. And stop looking down on yourself, because that is the spiritual parasites that have been bestowed on you. Stop talking about what you can't do and what you won't do and what's not possible, because you don't know what's possible until you begin to maximize the minimum. Take the little bit that you have. If you're an artist, you may just have a stick and put it in the ashes and charcoal and draw with that. If that's all you got, use it. Use whatever you have and stop complaining about what you don't have. Stop looking at what you think other people have. Stop talking about what most people do. You don't know most people. You just barely know you. How can you make a decision on what most people do and how they are? How women are like this, and black people are like this, white folks and Asians are always. You're lying. You're speaking with forked tongue and you're babbling on and on, so you live in Babylon. Stop it. Those of you who are having a rebirth day or any type of celebration, congratulations. Celebrate yourself. Find a group of people, no matter how big or small, that you can really relate to, but be there because you truly desire. Much love to you all. And I'm going to leave you as we began. No, we're going to play another song. We're going to play a song called I Allow. Let me find it. No. Nope. Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Hold on. I am going to finish the day off with AEIOU. This song is about you and the vowels AEIOU, how they can balance you. This song has the vocals. Hold on. This is Sister Noel singing the vocals along with me on this one, AEIOU. Thank you, Sister Noel. So we use different artists and different vocalists at certain times to create certain spaces. AEIOU. Just try it as an exercise. We'll see you again soon. Make sure you're on the email list at elevationtime.com. Elevationtime.com. And by being on the email list, you'll get notifications about these very special events. And like I said, if you can send us an email about what you think would be the value, what would you like to see here in Atlanta, an event, or in your town? But we're going to do something soon in Atlanta. What do you think that would be, good as far as an investment? What do you think it's worth? And we'll take your information and get back to you. Much love. Travel light. You don't need all that luggage. Most of it's not yours. See you again soon. Thank you very, very much.